one of the common shared cultures and traditions is dowry. Dowry. What do you think about the concept of exchanging a human being with cows and goats?
Well, actually it's not buying that human being with those material things.
You hire?
No. We do it as a thanksgiving to the parents who have brought up this girl, who have done all, her needs. They have met her needs. We say thank you because giving. What is wrong with giving thank? Because I cannot give thanks with myself, I go and stay there. I'm taking what belongs to them. So I give them thanks. That's what we call dowry. It's not as serious as you are making it, that you are buying. And again, I don't think a human being is something that you can just buy. And because when I bought my pen, yes, it does not have any right again for itself. It belongs to me because I bought it. Yes. You want to show the people that my wife does not have her rights because I took dowry to the people? No, I only give thanks.
But then why is it that actually in Tana River just the other day we had a case where someone was, a lady was forced to return dowry because they could not agree? Mtu amekuja kuambia nirudishie shukurani zangu kwa sababu
no. Who did not agree with who?
The lady was taken to the authorities, and then the judge was to decide the case, and they said I think the conclusion was those were irreconcilable differences, and the lady was ordered to return the dowry.
You see the problem that most of us have is not that you are looking at the judgment of the judge. The judge does not look and value the truth. He looks at the facts. But the truth remains what I have told you.
Sawa, and that's your opinion. That is your opinion. Mheshimiwa, what's your take on dowry?
My take on dowry is this. It's an appreciation, an act of appreciation. I have a problem with payment of dowry where the parents place a tag and say, we need 15 grade cows, we need 1.5 million, we need, where she went to this kindergarten, she went to this primary school, and they start calculations, and it comes to a big, thing, like they are truly, selling.
Thank you.
But the one that, somebody says, we are the parents, we are not selling our daughter. But we will accept what, something that you can package this and wrap it and say, Mama, I don't have anything. I'm actually still jobless, but we are in love and we want your blessings. Just as an act, take this and bless us. That is a blessed payment of dowry.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Man Kush, with that same analogy, in all honesty, nikikuja kwako nikwambie niko na ng'ombe moja mwisho. As in, as in, that's just my Thanksgiving. That's all I can get. Utanipea mtu?
Well, kama my IQ is beyond speedometer, I'll even give you the same cow you have brought. I'll tell you, take my daughter and go with this cow, keep on milking it until when you'll come up with some, because nitawakulia mpaka nikufe. Nitawakulia kuja mheshimiwa. Wakiona hiyo heshima nitakuwa nikiwakula pole mpaka siku nitaaga dunia. It's like now I have a plot somewhere,
yes,
and my son is having money, and I told him I want to sell that land, and I told him it belonged to you, but because now we are broke with your mother, we want to sell it. Okay. Now unajua naelekea wapi? Nataka nianze akuwe akinilipa pole ndani yake tu. Lazima ukue na hiyo mambo. Let me tell you, don't make life so serious. Life is just an art. Be happy when you are doing everything. Because if you put all these, you'll die.
Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree with him to a very small extent, but I disagree largely. I am a mother of an 18-year-old girl, and I know one day she will be married. I would want the young man that she falls in love with to be adopted as my son. And I also have a son. So, to be honest, I will not place a tag on my daughter. What I want for her is good life and true love. So the person she loves, I will also love. And if this person has something to give me as and it should not be a big thing. I am very specific because when you pay so much for no.
Don't knock on that channel.
No, I am very serious. I'm very serious. Because the time, if you bring me 10 million and I don't know how many cows and a house, you might even mistreat my daughter because every day you will be remembering how much you paid for her. I want you to appreciate her as a human being and know that, yes, this is now also, I become his mother also. Okay? So the same way he can take care of his mother, if he wants, he can also take care of me. But not that he paid so much for my daughter, and that is why I'm against anybody putting a tag or making a list for the payment of dowry. But yes, something must be given. And something can be, as I told you, anything. You can make a painting because you don't have anything else and wrap in and say, Mommy, I have nothing else but bless us. It is just an art. An act.
I
think we are sailing. We are sailing together, or we are walking together. It's only that I'm using a bicycle and she is using a car, but we are heading to the same
direction,
destination. Kwa sababu nimesema, it doesn't matter what you are bringing to me,
but there is a catch yako. Yeah. Yako make sure unakamua mpaka iishe.
Sikiza hapa. Na mkamulie naye iko na style. Sio unaenda na panga asikira asubuhi leteni. Ni kila wakati hata unasema niko na birthday twice or 3 times in a year. Na unawaita wote.
Very nice strategy.
Yeah.
I think you and Waitito same group. But sasa, that's where you say, but in my opinion, that's very hard to distinguish in that same example whether it's retrogressive or progressive.
No,
because
that is acceptable. You can't just come walk into my house and pick my daughter and just walk. I need to sit with you and I need to know you, and you need to just show me appreciation for having given birth to this daughter and brought her up to the extent that now you love her. But what I'm saying, I'm against placing a tag on any human being, especially girls who are being married. So when he starts mistreating your daughter and chopping off one ear after the other and doing all manner of things, he's like thinking, I bought you. Yes, I've spent 15 million, and you are mine. So this thing of your mine is brought also to some extent by heavy and hefty dowry that is placed on
makes it look like
yes, makes it, yeah.
My daughter is a mother of 2 now. But the day she was getting married, on that particular day, I wept in the church. Kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa nikifikiria ni mdogo. Nilikuwa nikifikiria ni mtoto. Tena, naona vile tumesubuana na mama yake. Naona atapitia hiyo njia pio kabisa. Naona hajakoma.
She's still your little girl.
Yeah, I thought, as a father, it's very hard to release just your daughter to just like that. Kwa hivyo nilikuwa na zile tu kusikia tu huruma. Lakini nikakuja kujua wako na watoto wawili. Huruma ikaisha.
And Man Kush, with all you've seen kwa hii dunia, with all you've seen, ume-evolve mpaka ukuwe pastor sahi. Ni nini umeiona ikakushtua in terms of culture and tradition?
Ni nyingi. Because I'm in religion arena.
Yes.
Nimeona watu wengi sana ambao mimi nastuka wanaabudu pastor kuliko kumwabudu Mungu.
Okay.
Wanakuwa brainwashed Yeah?
Yes.
Hiyo inanistuaga sana.
Okay.
Haya, hiyo ni moja ya kanisa. Number 2. Ingine inanistua sana. Ni vile nasikiaga kwamba wasichana walikuwa wanakatwa.
Yeah. Culture and tradition. Yeah.
Culture, it's in culture and tradition.
Yes.
Na wahurumia sasa wale kwa sababu sasa nikielewa the meaning of that part of the body, yes, God gave a lady, nikielewa sasa vile ninaelewa na imagine hawana sasa, na siwezi kuwaombea irudi, unaona?
And you see, but I thought you believe in miracles, Man Kush.
I believe in miracles, lakini sasa hiyo
sawa.
Hiyo ni kama ya yule jamaa alifufuka South Africa.
Ukumbuka hiyo story?
Ni ya uongo. Unajua kalikufa kabisa.
But after we did that show, man.
Practice makes it perfect.
Sasa na hizo vitu zote Mheshimiwa, why do you think that maybe, for example, from the Luo community, yes, there are things that you would do ama you would consider a taboo, na hazita as in, if you do them, you probably, if something bad happened to you, God forbid, people will attribute it to that. But if Man Kush did that, ama someone from Man Kush's family, they do that, and it's normal. And we are all human beings.
You know, life is about belief, what is called faith also, yes, in Christianity. If you so believe in something and you then become afraid, you know, being afraid is also a disease kind of, and you really so shiver like, you know, I did this, so I think something will happen to me. It might just happen, not because it has any bearing with that, because everything comes from the mind. You have fed your mind with a belief that something is going to happen. So it might just happen. But I don't believe, as I started before, some cultural values should actually be done away with. Like what he has just mentioned, I will not go into details, you know. But there are other cultural values that bring respect within the family network and social networks that happen to be special to this part of the world. We cannot just adapt everything. For example, you just showed us a clip where somebody is being whipped. I mean, we can't say we have traveled the world and we're so cultured now, we want to start whipping all prospective sons-in-law. Can you imagine me whipping one of these young men here who has come to seek my daughter's hand in marriage, and I come out with a nyahunyo and start, you know, really.
But so, Kevin would go
I mean, I want to state, I want to state that some must be considered retrogressive, okay, like what he has talked about, like forced inheritance, you know, yes, of wives. And yes, I know that it has happened before and elsewhere. It's still happening. But no, I don't think to a very big extent, because okay, you see, it is almost impossible to inherit somebody by force. But let me now talk as a Christian. I am against the practice of wife inheritance, yes, as a Christian. What Christianity provides is that when you lose your husband and you're still young as a lady, then, you know, mourn, and at some point, instead of jumping from one man to the other, remarry. Honestly, you know, just remarry at your own time, in your own way, without even going to somebody else's husband. You can remarry. It is in the Bible. Young ladies who have lost their husbands are allowed to remarry. But back to our Luo traditions, why they used to inherit is because the social networks, yes, at that time was different. People were not in towns, people were not anywhere, they were just in the village. And, you know, in their wisdom, they didn't want one young woman to become very, you know, lonely and confused around the community. So prospective young men or her in-laws, yes, would present themselves, and one of them would inherit with arrangement and agreement with the first wife and the community.
Yes.
It was controlled so that you are not inherited by somebody who calls you daughter-in-law, you know?
Yes.
It is somebody who calls you a sister-in-law. And it was controlled, and it was not forced. It was left for the lady to choose amongst the prospective, you know, in-laws, and then she would settle. That was to make sure that she doesn't leave the community.
Yes.
She doesn't roam around. She doesn't then start sleeping around with different men. And most importantly, it was to ensure that the children who she already has for that man remain in their
family.
Yes, family, and are brought up with the social networks.
You agree?
You see, that was the culture of that society.
Yes.
It was not culture where I come from.
Yes.
Where I come from, ni ukikufiwa unahaso. Unapata
Ujipage.
mtu, ujipage. Unapata mtu.
And do you think hiyo inaitwaje when Mheshimiwa says that they were controlled and they were meant to achieve a certain goal kama ku get watoto, how did maybe your culture compensate for that? You other than kuhustle?
Well, everybody one time was down there. But when you grow up and you become an independent thinker, now you start now reading books, having knowledge, acquiring a lot of wisdom, running as you teach. You see some of these cultures are overtaken by events. You should not now go back to them again.
But wewe umechanuka. Wewe unajua Man Kush.
Na kazi yangu ni kuchanua hawa watu bwana. Hiyo ndio nakuliaga.
Unajua
Si unasikia hata wengine wanaulizaga, how do you balance being a pastor and being a father, being a grandfather? Na muuliza, wewe ukienda kwa matanga saa hii, kwa mazishi, upewe wakati wa kuimba wimbo, unaweza imba tetama?
uko kwa tetema sahi. Unajua kuchanuka.
Sinaisikia kwani
Sawa, umefika wa mnyonyeza ama?
Sikiza. Hata ungeuliza kama mimi ni wa Friday manenos. Mambo yote iko. Your life is what you have chosen to be. Niko na pesa, mimi I'm over 18, I can go anywhere, niko na radio, niko na TV, I can dance, I'm a musician, I can dance all the, but I have decided to be what I am. I know those things are there, but I'm not for them. But siwezi ambia hawa vijana wangu waache kwenda huko wa behave kama mimi and I'm over 50 and they are already now 20s.
Kwa hivyo wewe hizo vitu unajuanga ziko, unaendanga tu sampling alafu unarudi.
No. Why even should I go to sample them? I have a TV. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I have a TV. Naziona, but I choose to be a Christian, I choose to be a father, I choose to be a role model,
yes,
and I choose to be an artist. You know, all these things. But I have my limits. There are places you can't find me. Na sio kusema ati hata ukileta double brack hapa ati nione hii video hii double brack. Sasa sisi nitaiona tu alafu niende. Mama niaje. Sasa siwezi kuambia uifunje.
Mimi hata sijui hiyo ni nini.